Good morning everyone, and what a lovely morning it is. It's Monday morning at 7:58. That's the time in the UK, and as promised, thanks for having a little look at my last offerings concerning the pavering show, which was really good. Anyway, as promised, I'll give a little one on Chinosol and how to apply it to the plants. I also mentioned yesterday about that top shelf, which you can see is now got plants on it rather than bulbs. Bulbs are in the other house. Just panning around before I start. You know me, I like to be able to chin wag propagators and some of the other plants which are starting to come to growth. That's Testudinaria or Darsacree Elephantipes has got a little growth on there. My other one, I'm keeping my fingers, I'm hoping that's going to do the same thing. Out there. Anyhow, let's get back to what I intended to do. As I promised you all yesterday, I would do one on Chinosol, or rather how to apply Chinosol to the plants, which is fairly easy. Now, some of you may remember, and this is going back quite a few years, more years than I care to remember, but in the cactus journals, on those days it was the National Cactus Society and the GB Society. They were run as separate entities. And I well remember, and I think this is possibly in the either very late 50s or the 60s, we had a gentleman who unfortunately is no longer with us. He passed away many years ago. Jim Bolton. Now some of you might remember the name, I hope so, because he lived in Formby, Lancashire. I had the pleasure to visit him on one occasion, and very enjoyable it was then. But anyhow, getting back to the thing, he was, as far as I know, a pharmacist, and he imported Chinosol, as it was called, well, it's still called Chinosol. He imported it from Germany, and it was sold at a very reasonable price. Don't ask me how much, but it was cheap, and it was in tablet form like we have here. That's in tablet form. And as I say, as time goes by, ideas change, medications change. We no longer use malathion. In my opinion, a great pity, but we don't. It's not allowed to be sold. Who remembers Fowler's? That was used extensively. We don't use that now. Just have to make do with stuff that, in my opinion, doesn't work. But the old methylated spirits tends to work. But you should put something else in it to act as a poison. So you poison the plant, the bugs that you're doing. Now anyhow, getting back to this Chinosol, it is still available, and if it's used properly, it is quite safe. Here we have a box. Put it round the right way. I imported this through eBay from Germany, and inside we have two layers of tablets. Turn that over. As you can see, I've used one. Now, the reason we use this, the reason I use it, is to act as a fungicide. Originally, if you grew stapelias, which did not like the cold. I don't keep them now. Well, I've got one in the other house which is looking not too good. It was used as a solution to control black rot, or where they tended to get patches of black, and it was used quite well. In those days I was able to get Chinosol in powder form. This was supplied by the British drug houses, and if I remember rightly, it was called 8 potassium hydroxyquinoline-sulfate. I know it's a long name, but it was exactly the same stuff but in powder form. Now with these ones, as I say, I'll show you the little bottle that I use as a sprayer. To make it work, you have to let some air in. So of course, like all good demonstrations, it doesn't work when you want it to, but sure it does work, but it's obviously not working at the moment. So anyhow, when you press that, it sprays. Now the idea is obviously to spray an infected plant that needs spraying. Now as I pointed out before, they've got this white fungus that appears. Now I'm hoping I've killed the fungus off, because these have been treated and they don't seem to be getting any worse. Now I may add that the main trouble with these is on Lithops. As you see, the plant we're looking at now does not look very healthy. I don't think that's caused by the fungus, that's caused by something else, and I would say it's something in this compost which was used. I'm not allowed to say where the compost came from. Suffice to say that it was a very large DIY concern over here. Great pity, because I've used their compost for years without any problems, and I was led to believe that John Innes compost was supposed to be formulated to the John Innes Institute, which laid down what should be in it. Well, obviously if you put household muck in it, it's not laid down by the formulations. But there we are. Look out, as I said before, look out for somewhere good, a garden centre, a good garden centre for the soil, and that should work, hopefully. Anyhow, back to the Chinosol. You put, well, what I do anyhow, there's my little spray bottle, and that is filled with water, and 1 tablet is put in. As you can see, this has partly been used. It gives a yellowish colour liquid, and you can atomise it or spray it if you like. I don't know why I can't. Oh, it's working. It's working. As I say, yeah, so what we do, just spray it on the plants, particularly the ones that have got the fungus, and I do believe it kills it off. You won't lose what's left, because it just kills it, so it obviously kills the spores. So application several times, you won't hurt the plants and you won't hurt yourself, because you're not necessarily going to breathe it in, and you're not going to orally take the tablets, which I don't know what they taste like, but I would imagine they wouldn't taste very nice. I understand that this originally was used for athlete's foot, which is also a fungus disease or complaint. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble on too long. The tablets are just dropped into the water and they dissolve. Make sure they fully dissolve. The other way is to use a mortar and pestle to crush the tablets up and then put it in, but I find that's unnecessary. You can just put it in the water, leave it on the side for an hour or so, give it a good shake, and you're ready to use it. And as I say, this was made up several weeks ago now. It doesn't go off. It's always ready to be used. And as I say, I've just sprayed some. It makes them shine, but hopefully it will control the fungus. Anyhow, that's all I've got to say concerning Chinosol. I don't know if the powder form can still be bought over here. All the while we can pick Chinosol up, which we got here, I've showed you. They call it Chinosol sulfate, kalium sulfate. Well, kalium is the German or the Latin name for a potassium. As I say, they do use different words for things, but it can be made, it can be worked out. It's like tungsten, that is wolfram in Germany. So there we go. So any questions, please ask. Thank you for watching my last offerings, which I enjoyed doing. I think by now you know I do like the sound of my own voice. And as I've joked before, this greenhouse is full of hind legs of donkeys. That is a joke. Talking the hind leg off a donkey. Anyhow, thanks again for watching. I'll put this up and hopefully it gets uploaded, unlike the last one which took all day for it to upload. I don't know why. My knowledge of computers is not that good, and I will be honest about that. So once again, thanks for watching, and I will leave you for the time being. I don't know what the next video will be on. Could be on anything. So thanks for watching. Thank you.